In order, please pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to welcome everybody. If you make sure your phone is silent or turned off. Have a moment of silent prayer, please. Okay, thank you. Thanks for everybody attending and watching. Start roll call. I'm starting first. Commissioner Mike Smith's here. Mr. Dove? Here. Mr. Reed?
Here.
Mr. Culberson?
Here.
And Commissioner Stephen is absent. Taking a test for the railroad. Public comment. I have two for the end of the meeting and not the beginning, so I'll hold off that in John and April. So we'll go to administrative business. One thing I want to do first before we start is I have to go out of state next week to care for my dad, and so I'd ask that Commissioner Stephen be acting chair while I'm gone, if I can get a motion on that.
Just make a motion on that.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion? And I told him hopefully this will help him control his talking, so we'll see what happens. The other thing I was wanting to bring up is just a reminder that KCCA.
You're going to vote?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm moving around really quick.
You're good. I got you.
Okay. Aye.
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 Nay.
Oh, Jesus. You sound like Vanessa. Jesus. Okay.
Take that as a compliment.
I can't wait till he asks me what the reason was.
I'm not going down that road, Jeff. Anyway, thank you. Thanks for bringing my attention. I was trying to get to some other stuff, probably going too quick. Just a reminder that the Kansas County Commissioners Association Conference in April, if y'all are interested in attending, then we need to make sure that you get with Becky and let her know. There's also something on that, go along with that. We have a bill from the Kansas County Commissioners Association that I just got and for our yearly dues. And I'll need, if y'all want to, I'll need a motion to approve that. And it's for $1,116.90.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? I'll start the roll call. Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Okay.
I gotta have a nay in there.
She's on a roll over there between her and Jeff. My bookends. Okay. Then we go. Mark, do you have anything before I go around the horn? No. Okay. I have nothing else. Mr. Dove?
Nothing.
Mr. No? Vanessa.
Are we talking? This is our talking time?
It's administrative business. Yeah. Yeah.
Can I talk about the parade?
Absolutely.
So I was very thankful to be in the St. Patrick's Day parade, even though I was feeling a little lonely from my team here. It was still a great parade.
We had a truck breakdown.
There was a lot of people, I thought, and a lot of entries, I thought, for it being a working day.
Good.
I think spring break maybe helped with that. But we had 4 walkers in front of our car handing out necklaces and bracelets and temporary tattoos and fun things, mustaches, big green mustaches. So, and then I went through a second time and rode with Leavenworth County Republican women. So I'm all paraded out.
I saw that. That's the first one I've missed, I think, in 30 years. I've got a hat and all kind of beads and stuff. I love doing that one.
Yeah.
But after Jeff injured me about 3 years ago, I couldn't ride in that truck again.
One time.
Get it caught up there. They did it on purpose. Well, I'm glad we had representation there. I appreciate you doing
You didn't
that.
throw any candy out, did you?
And I'm a rule follower.
Yeah,
we had so many people asking why don't they throw candy out.
I would like to see that amended, but yeah. So
Yeah, we were talked to about that on more than one
That's
occasion.
to let everybody know. It's because there's a rule now against it.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just saying I would like to.
But a lot of people didn't know that.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know why they don't do that anymore.
What amplifies our sound to the audience that we have here. How does our system work?
I think it's out of there, isn't it, Mark? Or
Yeah, it depends.
I didn't have my mic in front of me, so I apologize.
We have two speakers in the back. The microphones pick up the conversation and can amplify it back there. A lot of it depends on how close you are to your microphone, if you're
Okay.
speaking into it. Especially the microphones up there are very directional. These are more omni, but that's directional. So if it's not pointing right at your mouth, it won't pick you up.
Okay. I see people are having trouble hearing, so I want to try to make sure.
We also have.
The gentlemen in front of me are the only two, I think, that have hearing aids on.
Okay. Don't we also have things, Mark, that we can give out?
And actually, whoever just spoke is hard to hear too.
Okay.
Yeah, we do have hearing assistance devices for anybody that would like them.
So that might be something to be aware of,
Apparently, my hay fever.
and helps out quite a bit on something like
So
that.
if they want a hearing assistant device, they go into
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
Okay.
You sound better.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you. Sometimes we forget. Is that all you? Or is that enough? Jeff?
I didn't have anything.
Okay. And Mark didn't have anything, so we'll move on to consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Motion and second. Any discussion? I'll start the roll call. Aye?
Aye.
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 Okay. Next item. Come here, Michael. Next item is formal board action. Consider a motion to distribute the special alcohol funds as presented.
Commissioners, I believe you have representation from the committee here. If you'd like to speak on that.
Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Mike.
Good to see you again.
Commissioners. This is my first time, so I'm going to let you ask questions.
Well, I think this is a market. I went through, but I didn't see anything different. Maybe I missed something.
Now, I can give you just a brief overview. These are funds that we receive from the state through the special alcohol tax. They're required to be spent on alcohol prevention, and we have a committee.
Education.
Yeah, and education.
Right.
We have a committee that reviews it each year. They look at the money that's available, and then they look at applications, and then they present the applications to you for approval.
They should have a
Spreadsheet.
sheet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does anybody have any comments on that? Any questions?
What, yes. What,
Go ahead.
What has been, where have the funds been allocated in the past?
Most of those ones that you see are
Repeat.
repeats. We've been giving that money away for several,
You didn't get a copy of
for
that?
about 40 years.
Here.
Here you go. These are, unless Mark tells me different, these are ones I've seen every year. So you didn't have a copy of
There's a
that.
couple of new ones on there.
Yeah, for the most part, though. Yeah.
Thank you.
I was just wondering if you could state what the difference is between the allotments given to the schools. I noticed that Baser overall between their after prom party and project graduation had 6,000, and then Pleasant Ridge only was having 1,500. I was just wondering if we could talk about those differences.
A lot of it has to do with the population out there and how many graduates they actually have,
Okay.
and how many kids that they actually have. Baser Linwood probably has 300. The Pleasant Ridge is only going to have about 50. So that's a part of the thing. And also depends on how much money that they, raise, because we
Okay.
we want them to have a little part
Sure.
in this also.
Okay.
And they raise most of their funds. We don't give them everything that they normally want. So
Okay. Awesome. Just wanted to talk about that piece in case anybody asked. I know.
Well, they make a request too. They come to you and ask you for a certain amount and show the reason why, and then y'all decide on which way you're going to disperse it.
I can't hear you, Mike.
Boy, let me get this thing up. They make a request to you and fill out a form.
Yes.
And then you decide how you're going to disperse
Yes,
it.
and we actually put an ad in the paper.
Okay,
that
good.
tells them that we're open for applications and that they can,
I think I've seen it. Yeah.
it's put in twice and a lot more times. I've got copies of that if you want to see it.
Okay, very good. Any other questions?
Could I get a copy of that, please? Can we get a copy of that?
This or
Yes.
the,
Yes, I've never seen it. before, so,
In the paper?
yes.
Okay. You can have this one.
Hold on just a second. We'll get it to you.
By the way, we put that in twice. We put it in the first part of January and normally the end of January, beginning of February.
Good. I'll wait just a second for Mr. Dove to read that, and then we'll go on.
Thank you.
Okay. Need a motion to distribute the special articles funds as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we distribute the special alcohol funds as presented. Do we need to put a dollar amount in it, or no?
It's on the sheet.
Yeah, okay.
Fine.
As presented.
Second.
Okay. Motion is second. Any discussion? I'll start the roll call. Aye.
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 All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, John. See you later.
Board Order 2025-2, vacating certain section of right-of-way on Brown Road near Woodland Road and 234th Street that is unopened and used per legal description provided. And I believe now, Mark, I need to open public hearing. Is there anybody in the public that would like to address this? It's a pretty simple matter. Okay, if there's not, then I'll close the public hearing. Consider a motion to approve Board Order 2025-2, vacating a certain section of right-of-way on Brown Road near Wood End Road and 234th Street that is unopened and used per legal description provided. And here's a motion. Yeah, if you would.
I find the right of way section of Brown Road near Wooden Road and 234th Street as described in the notice of hearing is not a public utility. Therefore, I move that the right of way for section of Brown Road near Wooden Road and 234th Street as described in the notice of a hearing be vacated.
Second.
Motion second. Any comments on it? None. I'll start the roll call. Aye.
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 All right, thank you. Going down to presentation and discussions, I think we have a couple folks here. I saw April. April, you want
Oh, we
to,
got one more on.
what do I do?
consider
No, I
fire
cannot
district.
get, I'm
Fire
sorry,
district.
folks. I'm thinking about my dad. He had a stroke, and I'll be heading to Georgia in a couple of days, so my mind is elsewhere. I apologize.
We got you.
Consider a motion to approve Resolution 2025-11, altering the boundaries of Rural Fire District 1 of the Leavenworth County, Kansas, Fire District 1 by detaching Delaware Township from Fire District Number 1.
Are you good with John going first?
Absolutely. But look, just wait 1 second. Let us get through this. We'll get through. Do we have any comments on this? If not, I would ask for a motion.
I move to approve Resolution 2025-11, altering boundaries of Rural Fire District Number 1 of Leavenworth County, Kansas, by removing Delaware Township from Rural Fire District Number 1 of Leavenworth County, Kansas.
I'll second that. Any discussion? I'll start. Aye.
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 Okay. Fire District 1, part of that is done, Delaware. Okay, now we'll go into presentation discussion. Again, I apologize for jumping all over this.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually have a question regarding the fire department responsibility. I live in Delaware Township, outside of Lansing.
Right.
Under the new Lansing Fire Department, are we covered by a?
Lansing.
We are.
Yeah, there's a contract that the county initiated to cover, and
Which means your service didn't change at all from what it was before.
Okay.
that's right. Yeah, and we're just working through some of the things,
I just thought I'd ask.
making the attorneys richer, and so we're trying to work through this thing, get everybody cleared up. Okay,
Thanks for that
it's your turn.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just here to I sent an electronic version in, but this is this map. And plan. shows 3 proposed developments that the city of Lansing is advancing right now. This right here is 100. I have got this wrong. I apologize.
No problem.
Thank you very much. Okay, so this plan shows 3 housing development projects that the city of Lansing is advancing very rapidly. This is K7 right here, and this is McIntyre Road right here, and down here is Marksum Road. And so the first one is called Delaware Ridge, and I'm sure that you all have heard about these projects, probably all of them, but here's a plan that shows all 3 on one plan. This here is property owned by Epic Estates, and tonight, actually, at the Lansing City Planning Commission meeting, they'll be voting to change the zoning from agricultural to R4, light industrial and commercial. Okay, so that's here. It's a pretty large parcel. This development is called Delaware Ridge. It involves 412 very small units in a rural area that they're proposing. It is.
Could I get you, excuse me, no, we got the same problem. Could I get you to come closer to the microphone? People, we're all having the same problem with this. If you could, there you go. Appreciate it, John.
How's that?
You can pull the mic off.
Yeah, you put it, it's better you hold it close to you. These are not that sensitive.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Right,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for interrupting me. I appreciate it, Mike. Okay, so once again, this is Delaware Ridge. This is property owned by Epic Estates, and this is property owned by the Engleharts, and the city wants to convert this to 412 high-density units. So when you add up all these projects together, Delaware Ridge being a combination of single-home dwellings, apartments, townhouses, in addition to industrial and commercial and senior living, but just the housing units and the apartments, not the senior living and the townhouses, that involves 1,161 new units. The Epic Estates, we don't know how many, but since this involves 765 apartments, we think there's room up here for at least 500 apartments. So, and this is 412 units. Mary Street is under construction right now, those apartments. So altogether, that bangs into approximately 2,123 new housing units in Lansing. And this is going to hit Leavenworth County. It's going to affect Leavenworth County, all the congestion, all additional traffic. Probably have to be a traffic light here at McIntyre Road at some time. So everybody going in and out of Leavenworth to go to, let's say, Kansas City is going to have to deal with this. Okay, that's just one issue. Another issue is all the students coming out of here. It's estimated that approximately an additional 2,500 new students will be coming out of all these developments going into Lansing schools. I know that's not Leavenworth County's problem, but in a way it is. But I just want to bring this to your attention. This is, I'm sure you're aware of it, but now you see it, and it's coming your way. Now, Lansing wants to, appears that they want Leavenworth County, or at least Lansing, to be a clone of Overland Park. I think a lot of people in Leavenworth County appreciate living in Leavenworth County. They think it's very desirable, and because Leavenworth County has a different vibe than Wyandotte County and Johnson County. It's less congested. It's a more comfortable, relaxing place to live. Less taxes. That is all going to change with this. This is going to be higher taxes, probably more schools. The schools right now cannot, they're almost maxed out. Lansing is almost maxed out. There's room for, it depends on what report you read, but these new students, additional students from these housing developments will require new schools. And where is all this development going? Well, it's going on the east side of K7, so that's where they'll probably want to put the new schools, but there's no room for a new school on east side of K7, so they'll have to annex more property. Now, the people in Leavenworth County have nothing against the city of Lansing, but they don't want to be part of the city of Lansing. It's higher taxes for what? And oh, by the way, to get this, the city of Lansing had to annex this in a very stealthy manner. It was part of Leavenworth County, but because it was contiguous, the developer waived a $2 million bill in front of the owner, and the owner succumbed to that temptation, and now it's part of Lansing. It's surrounded on three sides by Leavenworth County, and your constituents in Leavenworth County are very concerned about this because this is a very rural area right now, and now we're going to be seeing 420 high-density units. You're talking 50-foot wide lots, 120-foot deep lots. That's 7 units per acre. And right now, the minimum zoning out here is one unit per 2.5 acres. So now we're having 7 units, 7+ units per 1 acre in here. And, and so you'll see all this development here. And by the way, there's no provision for a ball field for the kids to play, throw a football around or kick a soccer ball or anything like that. You know, I mean, the objective the city of Lansing has is to increase the tax base, and that's the bottom line. That's their definition of success. Well, as I said, I'm just bringing this to your attention. Now, there was a report developed by RPG Planning in 2023, and they say in that report that the recommended number of new housing units through the end of the decade is 512. 512 is what they recommend. Well, all this is 123 units, and so they've quadrupled the recommendation.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, sir. This is not the time for it. I should have said it. It's good to see you again, John. 15 minutes is up, but I can tell you that even though I don't attend their meetings, I do watch what's going on up there. So I'm very aware of what the questions and the things that you've said up there and the concerns that y'all have had. So it's not going on deaf ears. So I appreciate you being up here today.
Chairman, can I make one?
Yes, you can.
Were you stating, Mr. Redden? Hi, how are you? Were you stating that the city approached the property owner for this development, or did the property owner, who was the initiator?
I do not know. Okay. I was not there at the exact genesis of this thing, but it appears, and I'm reading from this resolution, the RHID resolution, because, okay, to make this thing work, this right here, the developer is getting an RHID, Residential Housing Investment District, whereby he'll enjoy a $25 million tax deferral over 20 years. Is that better, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Duff. So he, either the city manager approached the owner, or the city manager identified the owner and then had the developer approach the owner with a very, well, by her definition, a very generous offer, which they're buying that for $2 million. Now, maybe that's not, it could have been higher, but in any event, she went for it and voluntarily requested that her property be annexed into Lansing. And so there was no public comment on that at all. It just happened. So now, all these Leavenworth County properties that surround here have to deal with this high density subdivision. We're not against development, our group. If this was all going to be 2.5 acres, that's what the current zoning is right now, is 2.5 acres. We wouldn't be here today. But it's going to change the whole character of this area, and they have a legal right to do that. But do they have a moral right? And sometime Leavenworth County Commissioners are going to have to make that determination too, whether this is really morally right. Now, so they've annexed up to here. There's a sewer line.
Do you know when they annexed that?
They annexed it in November 26th, 2024. Yeah. But all right. Lansing owns this portion, or is has jurisdiction for about this portion of McIntyre Road. East of there is still under the jurisdiction of Leavenworth County. Same with 131st Street, it's under the jurisdiction of Leavenworth County. They're putting two entrances in off McIntyre Road. That's that portion of McIntyre Road under the jurisdiction of Leavenworth County. They're going to have to come to you and ask if that portion can be ceded from Leavenworth County to Lansing. Same with 131st Street. They want to put an entrance there too. They're going to have to ask 131st Street, at least a portion of it, to be ceded from Leavenworth County to Lansing. And also, you're going to have to approve this RHID. And April's going to speak to this. April?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
I'm sorry if I went over my...
Oh, that's all right. Good information. I appreciate it, sir. April? Good morning.
Good morning. That is a whole lot of information.
Yes.
I do want to state on record that at the last planning and zoning meeting that we went to, it was the city council meeting, that it was on record that the city administrator admitted that they were the one that found the developer for the homeowner. So that is on record with the Lansing City Council. So, Mr. Smith, I'm sure if you watch those, you would be able to see that. And it also was stated from some of the other homeowners that Ms. Englehart indicated that she was approached by the city. If you look on the housing plan, that was in 2023, this area was already targeted by the city. You guys know I'm April Cromer. I know most of you on the board. I live off 131st Street. So I believe each of you have already been notified about this Riverbend. It's called Riverbend Estates, a Reinvestment Housing Incentive District. And I do know that the KSA 125245 states that you should have already received a certified copy from the city. So if you haven't received a certified copy, the city is already in violation of that law, just because this has been ongoing for a while. There are 3 properties that are involved: 13209 McIntyre Road, 00000 131st, and 24303 131st, which those are contiguous in the county. So the last two that are contiguous, we know that this parcel of land, like we just discussed, and I know, Mr. Culbertson, you asked when it was annexed. From what I understand, that looking at some emails through a core request, that this was a process that has been going on since 2022. So it just got annexed in 2024. A lot of us were not made aware because we know that when a property owner decides to annex themselves, they're not bound by the statutory requirements that the city would have to do. So that's why many of us we didn't even know. We just drove down the road and we saw that there were stakes in the side of the road and, oh wow, what's going on with this? So the request for this RHID is necessitated by the inability to secure nearly $27 million proposed for infrastructure. The RHID is akin to a STAR bond, but the revenue is achieved through the property tax rather than the sales tax. So the proposed RHID tax abatement that extends for over 20 years is 78.5 mils will be allocated to the developer. 20 mils will be directed to the state school fund in accordance with KSA 72-5142, and 1.5 mils will be allocated to the state building fund. But on January 24, 2025, the Kansas Senate passed SB 35, which will eliminate this 1.5 mil levy for state educational and institutional buildings. Instead, it'll put it in the state general fund. So while the 78.2 mils could theoretically expedite the developer financing for the repayment over 20 years, it does not provide any revenue benefit to the city, to the county, or to the school district whatsoever. As a matter of fact, let me speak on that a second. USD 469 taxpayers, we pay 58.2 mils right now. So 38.2 of those mils that they would have normally achieved through local revenue, they're not going to have that. They're not going to get the 20 mils. Actually, the 20 mils, they're required to pay that back. So out of that 58.2 mils, 20 mils goes back to the state anyways. So 38.2 mils that would be given to the school district will not be recognized. That's a big deal. And that's a big problem. That's a big problem for most of us taxpayers. These are things that are not being considered. When they say they want to build their tax base, they say that this is the solution to build a tax base. An RHID is not a solution to build a tax base. As a matter of fact, one of the issues that I have, if they end up slowing down the process of this building and they're unable to sell, then what's going to happen? An RHID, the life of it, they can only build 50 a year. That's by statute, only 50 houses a year. And you can see that in Lansing with the low-income housing that they're building off of Mary Street. They have all of the statutory requirements. This is a little bit different, but if they can't realize any growth, typically the city's probably going to have to get another bond to fix that problem. But we're talking upward of $27 million. That's just an estimate, not considering the topography of the area. And there's a lot, if you go down to that area, Mr. Smith, that's your area. If you were to go down there and drive and look, you would see there's a lot of drainage issues already down in that area. Us in Delaware Ridge or in the Delaware Township, we are very concerned about all of these developments. The other issue that I have with this projected 20-year rebate that is a total of 2% growth, it's estimated to be about $25.6 million. And like I said, this might require the city to propose a future bond to take care of the remaining funds, especially since it's upward of $27 million. So another issue, and I want to speak on the sewer project for a minute. We all know that the COVID money is what paid for the sewer project that went up to north part of McIntyre. That's money that the city didn't have normally. Going through the core requests that I did in emails, it appears that they already had these projects in mind. An issue that most people, if you want to maintain public trust, there should have been some town halls telling the people. Not only do most of these, not most, all of them don't even go, they're not even in their comprehensive plan. That is a big deal. And if you look at Supreme Court decisions, that one in particular is Golden versus Overland Park, the Kansas Supreme Court compels cities and counties to follow their own comprehensive plans. I'm sure your attorney would probably tell you that. As a matter of fact, they just passed another one. We do have a way and a means to fight these zoning and rezoning, but statutorily, they're protected. Our legislators pass laws to protect us from this type of thing. Land use, future use, none of these things are being followed. Now, with this RHID, this is not what we want. This is not only going to hurt Lansing City taxpayers, it's going to hurt the county. 131st Street is very narrow. We've been asking for that road. I think I've bugged Mr. Smith a couple times. Hey, what do we need to do to pave this one mile stretch of road? It's not wide enough, number one, to have this ingress egress of with 400 people, 2 cars per house, 800 cars that's running on 131st Street, and if they're trying to do construction off of McIntyre, then you're going to reroute that through Markson Road. Then we've got to get Wyandotte County involved, because Markson Road isn't prepared for that either. So these are some of the concerns that I have. So some of the questions that I have for you, are you intending on supporting something like this? What is the current status of the easement? Are there plans for road improvements? If there are not such plans, would this place additional demands on any county resources? I looked at a core request dated June 10, 2022, and the city administrator expressed that he expected you, the county, to fund a portion of that sewer project. I think it was $450,000. Obviously, you voted against that because in the email it said that it was rejected due to inflammatory concerns. He also stated that he was talking to you, Mr. Smith, about it. And so I know that these projects with the sewer, they've tried to get money from the county with this. If they don't have money to build and the developer doesn't have money to build, it shouldn't be developed. This will hurt taxpayers in the long run. So I highly doubt that the people and the taxpayers really understand the implication of this RHID. They're being told it's going to build a tax base because of having these houses. It's not. A 20-year tax abatement is of no reward to taxpayers at all. As a matter of fact, the breakdown that I gave, let me reiterate it, 78.5 mils to the developer, 20 mils to the state for the state fund, and that would pay for the in-person students. And that goes into a big pot. That big pot of fund isn't just dispersed, hey, Lansing, we're going to give you this money. It goes to whichever county or whichever school district needs that money. I think you all know all of this. And I'm really just speaking here publicly because I really want this on public record for the public to know what is truly going on. Okay. This is not a small matter. KSA 5246 states, the ordinance or resolution establishing the district, which would be the Riverbend Heights District, shall be null and void within 30 days following the conclusion of a hearing. The Board of County Commissioners of the county in which the city governing body proposes to establish such a district determines by resolution that the proposed district will have an adverse effect on such county. So I trust each of you understand these implications, and passing such a bond that's placed into a package of an RHID will cause taxes to increase and thus causing an adverse effect to the county. So please implement a resolution denying this project. The hearing is April 17th with the city. The taxpayers cannot afford any more increases to the mill levy. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, April. Appreciate you speaking. Okay, a lot of information. Appreciate you too. Let me see here. The next item we had was a moving a silent prayer discussion. I'm asking that I want to have that put up next week. We could. I'd like to have the Mike Stephen here and the county councilor here also. I talked to the commissioner that brought this up, and she said she had no problem with bringing it up. We can discuss it next week if everybody's okay with that.
That's fine.
Okay. Okay. Then the other things, we'll go around the table on items. As I've missed something again, I attended a Port Authority meeting yesterday. Always interesting. Again, I'll be gone for next week. I'm sure y'all can run this place without me. A lot of good information. I appreciate it. There's some things I heard on there that are half and half on what I'm hearing from the other side, but this is just now coming to us now. So, I've been I'm paying attention out there, and I think everybody is what we're seeing. I've talked to both of you in the past. We'll see how this go. It is a tool they can use, but there are some things they have to do to get approval, and y'all have made it very clear on what those are. So I appreciate y'all bringing that up. Mr. Dove, you have anything?
Yes, I had the opportunity to visit with the planning and zoning last Wednesday,
Okay.
and it was very interesting to be a part of that meeting, especially when something so is being a big part of us approving or disapproving
Right.
for the Argo.
Yeah, rodeo.
So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that coming to us. Like, when is that coming up?
A week,
Mark?
2 weeks from today, right?
Is that 2
Yeah.
weeks?
Yeah, I'll be here for that one. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Young lady, you have anything for the group?
I think that, if I understand correctly, the county regained its board seat with LCDC last
Yes.
Thursday. So we'll move forward and see what happens.
Yeah, that was. I've got the email, and I think what you all got them too. That was changed, and wasn't really discussed yesterday, but it is approved now. So we'll come back. Anything else, Vanessa? Okay, Jeff.
I don't have anything to say.
I'll take a motion to adjourn then.
Second.
All right.
All right.
Hi.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, folks, for coming out.